Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here. This is a true story about a wedding, one of the most beautiful and talked about weddings in the world. It's the story of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, and how they got married in Venice, Italy. As you listen, you'll also learn English, step by step, word by word. So relax, listen closely, and feel free to repeat anything you like. Let's begin. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and Lauren Sanchez, a former TV host, got married on June 27, 2025, in Venice, Italy. The wedding took place on the island of San Giorgio Maggiore, which is a peaceful island across from the famous St. Mark's Square. The location was changed from an earlier plan because of local protests and the need for more privacy and security. The wedding celebration lasted 3 days. Before the main event, there was a welcome party in a quiet courtyard near the Madonna dell'Orto church in Venice. On the wedding day, guests went to the island of San Giorgio Maggiore, which gave them a private and beautiful view of the lagoon and the city. Lauren Sanchez wore a custom wedding dress made by Dolce & Gabbana. The dress was inspired by a gown worn by Sophia Loren in an old movie called Houseboat. It had long sleeves, a high neckline, and a fitted shape with a fishtail skirt and a long train. Her veil was also styled in a classic way from the 1950s. For her jewelry, Lauren wore diamond earrings that were borrowed from Dolce & Gabbana. This followed a wedding tradition called something borrowed, which is believed to bring good luck. During other events before the ceremony, she wore a gold satin dress by Schiaparelli and another version of her wedding gown. Jeff Bezos wore a classic black tuxedo, also by Dolce & Gabbana. He added sunglasses from Louis Vuitton to complete his look. Together, the couple looked elegant and stylish, matching the beauty and class of Venice. A special moment during the ceremony was when Matteo Bocelli sang "Can't Help Falling in Love" by Elvis Presley as Lauren walked down the aisle. After that, a gospel choir performed, bringing joy and energy to the celebration. Around 200 guests were invited to the wedding. Many of them were famous people from different fields like business, film, fashion, and music. Some of the guests included Oprah Winfrey, Kim and Khloe Kardashian, Kris and Kylie Jenner, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Brady, Usher, Bill Gates, Queen Rania of Jordan, Orlando Bloom, Sydney Sweeney, and Ivanka Trump with her husband Jared Kushner. Jeff and Lauren wanted to show respect to the city of Venice. Instead of wedding gifts, they asked their guests to donate to the city. Most of the wedding supplies were bought from local vendors in Venice, which supported local businesses. They also made a donation of about €2 million to help fund studies of the Venice Lagoon and to protect the environment of the city. However, not everyone in Venice was happy about the wedding. Some people were worried that big events like this one were making the city feel like a stage instead of a real place where people live. A small protest group said that Venice was turning into a luxury showroom for the rich. In response, the mayor of Venice said that the wedding was carefully planned to respect the city and would also help the local economy. The total cost of the wedding was about $50 million. The celebration included luxury transportation by water taxis and private jets. One of the evening parties was held in a former shipyard, and there were plans for performances by big stars like Lady Gaga and Elton John at the final gala. After the main event, Jeff and Lauren went out for a quiet lunch the next day at Harry's Bar in Venice. The lunch was held in a private space so they could enjoy their meal peacefully after the celebrations. This wedding was a special moment in their story. Jeff and Lauren started dating in early 2019. In May 2023, they got engaged during a trip to the south of France. Their wedding in Venice brought together their family and friends for 3 joyful and unforgettable days. The wedding weekend of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez continued after the ceremony with more events, more style, and a lot of energy. After saying their vows on San Giorgio Maggiore Island, the couple and their guests returned to the heart of Venice for an evening filled with music and celebration. The atmosphere was festive but also respectful of the city's traditions and beauty. The next major event took place at the Arsenale, a historic former shipyard that has become one of the most iconic and flexible event spaces in Venice. It was transformed into a glamorous party venue for the newlyweds. The Arsenale is usually a place for art exhibitions and official events, but for this night, it became a place of joy, music, and dancing. Many famous guests attended the party. Some arrived by water taxi dressed in evening gowns and tuxedos, while others walked quietly through side entrances to avoid too much attention. Security was very tight, but the mood was warm and full of excitement. The entrance to the party space was decorated with candles and flowers. Staff helped guide guests in with great care, making sure everyone felt comfortable and welcome. Jeff and Lauren made a dramatic entrance into the arsenal, smiling and holding hands. People clapped and cheered when they arrived. Inside, the space was lit with soft, golden light. Tables were set with white linens, tall candles, and elegant flower arrangements. Waiters served a carefully chosen menu with local Italian flavors, fine wines, and champagne. The food was prepared by chefs who specialize in combining traditional dishes with modern touches. The entertainment was one of the highlights of the evening. A well-known DJ started the night with music that brought everyone to the dance floor. Later, singers and musicians performed live. Although the organizers tried to keep most details secret, it was reported that Lady Gaga and Elton John were invited to perform for the couple and their guests. People close to the event said the performances were private gifts from friends and were deeply moving for everyone there. The party lasted late into the night. Many guests said it was one of the most beautiful events they had ever attended. The mood was a mix of romance and fun. People danced, talked, and celebrated the love between Jeff and Lauren. The couple spent time with each group of friends, thanking them for coming and sharing this moment with them. Even though it was a high-profile event, the couple kept many parts of the celebration personal. There were no public speeches or press photos during the private party. They wanted to protect the special feeling of the night and keep it for themselves and their loved ones. That personal touch made the evening feel more real, even with all the luxury and famous faces around. The next day, after a short rest, the celebrations continued in a more relaxed way. Jeff and Lauren were seen leaving their hotel quietly, smiling and dressed in casual clothes. They visited Harry's Bar, one of the most famous restaurants in Venice, known for its connection to writers, artists, and classic cocktails. The couple had a private lunch there, away from the cameras and the noise of the big events. This quiet lunch showed another side of their wedding weekend. While most people focused on the big party and the beautiful clothes, Jeff and Lauren also made time for peaceful moments. They wanted to enjoy the city of Venice in a simple, respectful way. During their stay, they were often seen holding hands, laughing, and enjoying small walks along the canals. For the local people in Venice, the event was a mix of curiosity and caution. Some were proud that such an important event happened in their city. It brought jobs, attention, and tourism. Hotels were full, restaurants were busy, and local artists and workers were hired to help with decorations and service. For many people, this meant income and visibility during a time when Venice is working hard to keep its cultural life alive. Others were more skeptical. They worried about the image of Venice becoming too closely tied to luxury and private events. Activists said they didn't want the city to become a place only for billionaires and celebrities. But city leaders said the event was planned with care and showed that Venice can welcome people from all over the world while keeping its own traditions strong. One clear sign of respect from the couple was their decision to avoid large displays in the most crowded parts of the city. Instead, they chose locations that were private, beautiful, and already used for big events. This helped reduce problems with traffic and public access. Police and local workers were prepared for the weekend, and many parts of the city continued as usual during the celebration. Even after the wedding, people kept talking about the event. The images of the couple, the guests, and the beautiful setting were shared in magazines and online for days. Many people admired the style of the event, the elegance of the clothes, and the way Jeff and Lauren showed love not just for each other but also for the city that hosted them. The wedding in Venice was more than just a marriage ceremony. It was a carefully planned moment that mixed personal love, public attention, and deep respect for tradition. It showed the world a modern love story set in one of the most historic cities in the world. After 2 days of celebration, the final day of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding weekend arrived. This last part of the event was a farewell gathering, a chance for guests to enjoy each other's company one more time in a calm and happy atmosphere. The couple wanted to end their time in Venice with a peaceful event that reflected their love and appreciation for their friends and the city. The farewell took place in a private garden on the edge of the Grand Canal. The location was quiet and full of natural beauty. Trees gave shade from the sun, and flowers added color to the setting. The sound of water moved gently in the background as guests arrived slowly by boat and on foot. It was a different mood from the grand party the night before. Here, everything felt slower, softer, and more intimate. Guests wore light, elegant clothes, perfect for a warm day by the water. There were no tuxedos or ball gowns this time, just soft dresses, linen suits, sunglasses, and wide smiles. Many guests seemed relaxed, chatting in small groups, taking photos with each other, and enjoying the gentle breeze coming off the water. Some brought their children or partners along, and there were quiet moments of laughter and even dancing under the trees. The food at the farewell event was focused on simple pleasures. There were fresh fruits, cheeses, pastries, and light Italian dishes served buffet style. Local wines and sparkling drinks were offered throughout the afternoon. A small band played live music, mostly soft jazz and acoustic covers of love songs, adding a peaceful rhythm to the gathering. Jeff and Lauren moved among the guests with kindness and joy. They hugged old friends, posed for quiet photos, and gave personal thanks to the people who had traveled from all over the world to be with them. At one point, they stood together and made a short toast. It was not a long speech, but just a few words of love and gratitude, to their families, to their friends, and to the city of Venice for welcoming them with such beauty and grace. As the event continued into the early evening, boats waited nearby to take guests back to their hotels or to the airport. Some people had already packed their bags, while others stayed for one last drink or to share another story about the weekend. Even though the wedding events were coming to an end, many guests said they would remember this experience for the rest of their lives. The wedding weekend also marked a turning point for Jeff and Lauren as a couple. Their relationship had already been in the public eye for years, and they had faced attention, headlines, and sometimes criticism. But through all that, they had built something strong and supportive. Friends close to them said that this wedding was not only a celebration of love but also of trust, friendship, and personal growth. In the days after the wedding, Lauren changed her social media name to Lauren Sánchez BEZOS. This small detail showed that she was ready to share not just Jeff's name, but also the life they were building together. It was a symbolic moment that many people noticed. Meanwhile, photographers captured the last images of the couple as they left Venice. Lauren wore a bright white jumpsuit with stylish sunglasses, and Jeff kept things simple in a short-sleeved shirt and light-colored pants. They waved to a few people standing nearby as they boarded a private boat and quietly left the city. After the couple's departure, Venice slowly returned to its usual rhythm. The cleanup crews removed decorations, the streets emptied, and the canals grew quiet again. But for the people who had worked at the events, the planners, servers, musicians, boat drivers, chefs, and hotel staff, it had been a weekend they would not forget. In the end, the wedding of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez was not just about luxury or headlines. It was about creating a meaningful moment surrounded by history, love, and care. Venice, with its mix of mystery and elegance, gave them the perfect stage. But the real beauty of the event came from the way the couple brought people together and made everyone feel part of their journey. Even now, people continue to talk about the details, the dress, the music, the setting, and the guests, but the strongest feeling that remains is one of warmth. It was a wedding filled with heart, and it left behind more than just photographs. It left behind memories of love shared under the Venetian sun. On the evening of June 28, 2025, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez hosted the final event of their wedding weekend in Venice. It was a masked ball at the historic Arsenale, a quiet and majestic shipyard turned into a glowing space of music and celebration. The location was chosen carefully. After some protests earlier in the week, the couple decided to avoid central Venice and moved the event to the Arsenale for more privacy and less impact on the city. As the sun set, guests arrived by water taxi, dressed in black evening wear and elegant Venetian masks. Inside, the Arsenale was filled with soft golden light, candles, flowers, and long tables. The atmosphere was romantic and mysterious. Lauren wore a black gown with feathers and sparkles. Jeff wore a simple black mask and tuxedo. They greeted guests warmly, and everyone could feel the love and joy in the air. The music began quietly, with a string quartet playing under stone arches. Then came a surprise. Lady Gaga appeared and sang a slow version of Your Song. Soon after, Elton John followed with Tiny Dancer. The performances were heartfelt and emotional. Guests stood still, some holding hands, others wiping away tears. It was a moment of magic. Later in the evening, the music changed. A DJ played dance songs, and people removed their masks. They laughed, danced, and shared stories from the weekend. The food was classic and fresh: seafood, pasta, local wines, and sweet desserts. At the edge of the city, a small group of activists held a peaceful protest. They wanted to remind the world that Venice is a home, not just a stage for the rich. The protest was quiet and respectful, and security made sure it didn't interrupt the event. Inside, Jeff and Lauren made a short speech around midnight. They thanked their guests, the city of Venice, and the many people who helped make their wedding special. Their words were simple but full of feeling. People raised glasses and cheered. The night ended with fireworks over the water. Colors lit up the sky and reflected on the canals. Guests stood in silence, watching the lights and thinking about the beauty of the evening. In the morning, Venice would return to its usual rhythm. The decorations would come down, and the boats would carry the guests away. But the memories of this wedding, the music, the love, and the kindness, would remain, not only in photos but in hearts. Jeff and Lauren left Venice as husband and wife, carrying with them the joy of a perfect celebration.